Then Adam and Hawa spread their hands before Elohim, praying and begging him to drive Satan away from them, so that he could not harm them or force them to deny Elohim. Then, suddenly, Elohim sent to them his messenger who drove Satan away from them. This happened about sunset on the 53rd day after they had come out of the garden. Then Adam and Hawa went into the cave, and stood up and lowered their faces to the ground to pray to Elohim. But before they prayed, Adam said to Hawa, "Look, you have seen what temptations have befallen us in this land. Come, let us get up and ask Elohim to forgive us the sins we have committed, and we will not come out until the end of the day before the 40th day. And if we die in here, he will save us." Then Adam and Hawa got up and joined together in entreating Elohim. They continued praying like this in the cave and did not come out of it in the night or day, until their prayers went up out of their mouths like a flame of fire. But Satan, the hater of all that is good, did not allow them to finish their prayers. He called to his hosts and they all came. Then he said to them, "Since Adam and Hawa, whom we deceived, have agreed together to pray to Elohim night and day, and to beg him to deliver them, and since they will not come out of the cave until the end of the 40th day, and since they will continue their prayers as they have both agreed to do, that he will deliver them out of our hands and restore them to their former state, let us see what we shall do to them." And his hosts said to him, "Power is yours, our master, to do what you command." Then Satan, great in wickedness, took his hosts and came into the cave on the 30th night of the 40-day period, and he beat Adam and Hawa until he thought they were dead, and he left them as dead. Then the word of Elohim came to Adam and Hawa, and raised them from their suffering, and Elohim said to Adam, "Be strong, and do not be afraid of him who has just come to you." But Adam cried and said, "Where were you, my Elohim, that they should punish me with such blows, and that this suffering should come over me and over Hawa, your handmaiden?" Then Elohim said to him, "Adam, see, he is master of all you have, he who said he would give you divinity. Where is this love for you? And where is the gift he promised? Did it please him just once, Adam, to come to you, comfort you, strengthen you, rejoice with you, or send his hosts to protect you, because you have obeyed him and have obeyed his counsel and have followed his commandment and transgressed mine?" Then Adam cried before Yahweh, and said, "Yahweh, because I transgressed a little, you have severely punished me in return. I ask you to deliver me out of his hands, or at least have pity on me and take my soul out of my body now in this strange land." Then Elohim said to Adam, "If only there had been this moaning and praying before you transgressed, you would have rest from the trouble in which you are now." But Elohim had patience with Adam, and let him and Hawa remain in the cave until they had fulfilled the 40 days. But the strength and flesh withered on Adam and Hawa from fasting and praying, from hunger and thirst, because they had not tasted either food or drink since they left the garden, and their bodies functioned erratically because they had no strength left to continue in prayer from hunger until the end of the next day to the 40th. They were fallen down in the cave, yet what speech escaped from their mouths was only in praises. Then on the 89th day, Satan came to the cave, clad in a garment of light, and belted with a bright girdle. In his hands was a staff of light, and he looked most frightening, but his face was pleasant, and his speech was sweet. He had transformed himself like this, in order to deceive Adam and Hawa, and to make them come out of the cave, before they had fulfilled the 40 days. He said to himself, when they had fulfilled the 40 days fasting and praying, Elohim would restore them to their former state, but if he did not do this, he would still be favorable to them, and even if he had no mercy on them, would he still give them something from the garden, to comfort them as he had already twice before. Then Satan came near the cave in beautiful appearance and said, "Adam, you and Hawa rise and stand up, and come along with me to a good land, and don't be afraid. I am flesh and bones like you, and at first I was a creature that Elohim created, It was like this when he had created me. He placed me in a garden in the north, on the border of the world. And he said to me, stay here. And I remained there according to his word, and I did not violate his commandment. Then he made a sleep to come over me, and then he brought you, Adam, out of my side, but he did not make you stay with me, but Elohim took you in his Kodesh hand, and placed you in a garden to the east. Then I worried about you, because even though Elohim had taken you out of my side, he had not allowed you to stay with me. But Elohim said to me, do not worry about Adam, whom I brought out of your side, no harm will come to him, for now I have brought out of his side a helpmeet for him and I have given him joy by so doing. Then Satan spoke again, saying, I did not know how it is you came to be in this cave, nor anything about this trial that has come over you until Elohim said to me, behold, Adam has transgressed. He whom I had taken out of your side, and Hawa also, whom I took out of his side, have sinned, and I have driven them out of the garden. I have made them live in a land of sorrow and misery, because they transgressed against me, and have obeyed Satan. And look, they are suffering to this day, the 80th. Then Elohim said to me, get up, go to them, and make them come to your place, and do not permit Satan to come near them and afflict them. For they are now in great misery, and lie helpless from hunger. He further said to me, when you have taken them to yourself, give them to eat of the fruit of the tree of high, and give them to drink of the water of peace, and clothe them in a garment of light, and restore them to their former state of grace, and leave them not in misery, for they came from you. But grieve not over them, nor be sorry of that which has come over them. But when I heard this, I was sorry and my heart could not bear it for your sake, and I could not wait, my child. But, Adam, when I heard the name of Satan, I was afraid, and I said to myself, I will not come out because he might trap me as he did my children, Adam and Hawa, and I said, Elohim, when I go to my children, Satan will meet me on the way and fight against me as he did against them. Then Elohim said to me, fear not when you find him, hit him with the staff that is in your hand, and don't be afraid of him, because you are old and established, and he shall not prevail against you. Then I said, O Yahweh, I am old, and cannot go. Send your messengers to bring them. But Elohim said to me, messengers are not like Adam and Hawa, and they will not consent to come with them. But I have chosen you, because they are your offspring, and are like you, and they will listen to what you say. Elohim said further to me, if you don't have enough strength to walk, I will send a cloud to carry you and set you down at the entrance of their cave, then the cloud will return and leave you there. And if they will come with you, I will send a cloud to carry you and them. Then he commanded a cloud to carry me up, and it brought me to you, and then it went back. And now, my children, Adam and Hawa, look at my old gray hair and at my feeble state, and at my coming from that distant place. Come with me to a place of rest. Then he began to cry and to sob before Adam and Hawa, and his tears poured on the ground like water. And when Adam and Hawa raised their eyes and saw his beard and heard his sweet talk, their hearts softened towards him, and they obeyed him, because they believed he was true. And it seemed to them that they were really his offspring, when they saw that his face was like their own, and they trusted him. Then Satan took Adam and Hawa by the hand, and started to lead them out of the cave. But when they had gone a little way out of it, Elohim knew that Satan had overcome them and had brought them out before the 40 days were ended, in order to take them to some distant place and to destroy them. Then the word of Yahweh Elohim again came and cursed Satan and drove him away from them. And Elohim began to speak to Adam and Hawa, saying to them, What made you come out of the cave to this place? Then Adam said to Elohim, Did you create a man before us? Because, when we were in the cave, there suddenly came to us a friendly old man who said to us, I am a messenger from Elohim to you, to bring you back to some place of rest. And we believed that he was a messenger from you, O Elohim. and we came out with him. We did not know where we should go with him. Then Elohim said to Adam, "This is the father of the evil arts, who brought you and Hawa out of the Garden of Delights." And when he saw that you and Hawa both joined together in fasting and praying so that you did not come out of the cave before the end of the 40 days, he wished to make your efforts wasted and break your mutual bond, in order to take away all hope from you and to drive you to some place where he might destroy you. Because he couldn't do anything to you unless he showed himself in the likeness of you. Therefore he came to you with a face like your own, and began to give you signs, as if they were all true. But because I am merciful and am favorable to you, I did not allow him to destroy you. Instead, I drove him away from you. Now, Adam, take her and return to your cave, and remain in it until the morning, after the 40th day. And when you come out, go toward the eastern gate of the garden. Then Adam and Hawa worshipped Elohim, and praised and borrowed a Sadillah hymn for the deliverance that had come to them from him. And they returned to the cave. This happened in the evening of the 39th day. Then Adam and Hawa stood up and with a fervent passion, prayed to Elohim to give them strength, for they had become weak because of hunger and thirst and prayer. But they watched the entire night praying until morning. Then Adam said to Hawa, "Get up. Let us go toward the eastern gate of the garden as Elohim told us." And they said their prayers as they were accustomed to do every day, and they left the cave to go near to the eastern gate of the garden. Then Adam and Hawa stood up and prayed and appealed to Elohim to strengthen them and to send them something to satisfy their hunger. But after they finished their prayers they were too weak to move. Then the word of Elohim came again, and said to them, "Adam, get up, go and bring the 2 figs here." Then Adam and Hawa got up, and went until they came near to the cave. But Satan, the wicked one, was envious because of the consolation Elohim had given them. So he prevented them from getting the figs and went into the cave and took the 2 figs and buried them outside the cave, so that Adam and Hawa should not find them. He also had thought to destroy them. But by Elohim's mercy, as soon as those 2 figs were in the ground, Elohim defeated Satan's wishes regarding the figs and made them into 2 fruit trees that grew higher than the cave and shaded the cave, because Satan had buried them on the eastern side of it. Then when the 2 trees were grown, and were covered with fruit, Satan grieved and mourned, and said, "It would have been better to have left those figs where they were, because now they have become 2 fruit trees that Adam will eat from all the days of his life." But I had in my mind that when I buried them it would destroy them entirely and hide them forever. But Elohim has overturned my plan and would not let that sacred fruit perish, and he has made known my intention, and has defeated the plan I had formed against his servants. Then Satan went away ashamed because he hadn't thought his plans all the way through. As they got closer to the cave, Adam and Hawa saw 2 fig trees, covered with fruit, and giving shade to the cave. Then Adam said to Hawa, "It seems to me that we have gone the wrong way. When did these 2 trees grow here? It seems to me that the enemy wishes to lead us the wrong way. Do you suppose that there is another cave in the earth besides this one? But, how let us go into the cave and find the 2 figs, because this is our cave we were in. But if we do not find the 2 figs in it, then it cannot be our cave." Then they went into the cave and looked into the 4 corners of it, but did not find the 2 figs. And Adam cried and said to Hawa, "Did we go to the wrong cave, Hawa? It seems to me the 2 figs should have been in the cave." And Hawa said, "I do not know." Then Adam stood up and prayed and said, "O Elohim, you commanded us to come back to the cave, to take the 2 figs and return to you. But now, we cannot find them. Elohim, have you taken them and planted these 2 trees, or have we lost our way in the earth, or has the enemy deceived us? If this is real, then, O Elohim, reveal the secret of these 2 trees and figs to us." Then the word of Elohim came to Adam, and said to him, Adam, when I sent you to bring back the figs, Satan went ahead of you to the cave, and took the figs, and buried them outside, east of the cave, thinking to destroy them, by not sowing them with good intent. It wasn't because of him that these trees have immediately grown up, but I had mercy on you and I commanded them to grow. And they grew to be 2 large trees, that it would give you shade by their branches, and you should find rest, and by this I made you see my power and my marvelous works. And also I showed you Satan's cruelty and his evil works. Ever since you came out of the garden, he has not ceased for a single day from doing you harm in some way. But I have not given him power over you. And Elohim said, From now on, Adam, rejoice because of the trees that you and Hawa can rest under when you feel weary. But do not eat any of their fruit or come near them. Then Adam cried, and said, Elohim, will you kill us again, or will you drive us away from your face, and cut off our life from the face of the earth? O Elohim, I beg you, if you know that these trees bring either death or some other evil, as they did the first time, root them up from near our cave and leave us to die of the heat or hunger or thirst, for we know your marvelous works, O Elohim, that they are great, and that by your power, you can bring one thing out of another, without the thing's consent. For your power can make rocks to become trees, and trees to become rocks. Then Elohim looked at Adam, and at his strength of mind, and at his ability to endure hunger, thirst, and heat. And he changed the 2 fig trees into 2 figs as they were at first. Then he said to Adam and Hawa, Each of you may take 1 figure. And they took them as Yahweh commanded them. And he said to them, You must now go into the cave and eat the figs and satisfy your hunger, or else you will die. So they went into the cave, about sunset, as Elohim commanded them. And Adam and Hawa stood up and prayed during the setting sun. Then they sat down to eat the figs, but they did not know how to eat them, because they were not accustomed to eating earthly food. They were afraid that if they ate, their stomach would become heavy and their flesh thickened, and their hearts would begin to crave earthly food. But while they were seated, Elohim sent them his messenger, out of pity for them, so they wouldn't perish of hunger and thirst. And the messenger said to Adam and Hawa, Elohim says to you that you do not have the strength that would be required to fast until death, so eat and strengthen your bodies, for you are now animal flesh and cannot subsist without food and drink. Then Adam and Hawa took the figs and began to eat of them. But Elohim had put into them a mixture as of savory bread and soup. Then the messenger left Adam and Hawa as they ate of the figs until they had satisfied their hunger. Then they put aside what was left over, but by the power of Elohim, the figs became whole again, because Elohim baraked them. After this Adam and Hawa got up and prayed with a joyful heart and renewed strength, and praised and rejoiced much for the entire night. And this was the end of the 83rd day. And when it was day, they got up and prayed, after their custom, and then went out of the cave. But they became sick from the food they had eaten because they were not used to it, so they went about in the cave saying to each other, What has our eating caused to happen to us, that we should be in such pain? We are in misery. We are going to die. It would have been better for us to have died keeping our bodies pure, than to have eaten and defiled them with food. Then Adam said to Hawa, This pain did not come to us in the garden, neither did we eat such bad food there. Hawa, do you think that Elohim will plague us through the food that is in us, or that our insides will come out, or that Elohim intends to kill us with this pain before he has fulfilled his promise to us? Then Adam besought Yahweh, and said, O Yahweh, let us not perish because of the food we have eaten. O Yahweh, don't punish us, but deal with us according to your great mercy, and do not forsake us until the day of the promise you have made us. Then Elohim looked at them, and then equipped them to be able to eat food at once, as it is to this day, so that they should not perish. Then Adam and Hawa came back into the cave sorrowful and crying because of the alteration of their bodies. And they both knew from that hour that they were altered beings, and all hope of returning to the garden was now lost, and they could not enter it again. For now their bodies had strange functions, and all flesh that requires food and drink for its existence cannot be in the garden. Then Adam said to Hawa, "See, our hope is now lost, and so is our faith that we will enter the garden. We no longer belong to the inhabitants of the garden, but from now on we are earthy and of the dust, and of the inhabitants of the earth. We shall not return to the garden until the day in which Elohim has promised to save us and to bring us again into the garden, as he promised us." Then they prayed to Elohim that he would have mercy on them. After this, their minds were quieted, their hearts were broken, and their longing was cooled down, and they were like strangers on earth. That night Adam and Hawa spent in the cave, where they slept heavily because of the food they had eaten. When the morning of the day after they had eaten food came, Adam and Hawa prayed in the cave, and Adam said to Hawa, "Look, we asked Elohim for food, and he gave it. But now let us also ask him to give us a drink of water." Then they got up, and went to the bank of the stream of water that was on the south border of the garden, which they had thrown themselves in before. And they stood on the bank, and prayed to Elohim that he would command them to drink the water. Then the word of Elohim came to Adam, and said to him, "O Adam, your body has become brutish, and requires water to drink. Take some and drink it, you and Hawa, then give thanks and praise." Adam and Hawa then went down to the stream and drank from it, until their bodies felt refreshed. After they drank, they praised Elohim and then returned to their cave, as was their custom. This happened at the end of 83 days. Then on the 84th day, they took the 2 figs and hung them in the cave together with the leaves of the figs. To them these were a sign and a barakah from Elohim. And they placed them there so that if their descendants came that they would see the wonderful things Elohim had done for them. Then Adam and Hawa stood outside the cave again and asked Elohim to show them some food with which they could nourish their bodies. Then the word of Elohim came and said to him, "Adam, go down west of the cave until you come to a land that has dark soil, and there you will find food." And Adam obeyed the word of Elohim and took Hawa, and went down to a land that had dark soil, and found wheat growing ripe in the ear, and figs to eat, and Adam rejoiced over it. Then the word of Elohim came again to Adam, and said to him, "Take some of this wheat and make yourself some bread with it, to nourish your body." And Elohim gave Adam's heart wisdom to work the corn until it became bread. Adam accomplished it all until he grew very faint and weak. He then returned to the cave rejoicing at what he had learned and what he had done with the wheat, until it was made into bread. When Adam and Hawa went down to the land of black earth and came near to the wheat Elohim had showed them and saw that it was ripe and ready for reaping, they did not have a sickle to reap it with. So they put themselves to the task and began to pull up the wheat by hand until the task was complete. They then heaped it into a pile. They were weak from heat and from thirst and went under a shady tree where the breeze fanned them to sleep. But Satan saw what Adam and Hawa had done, and he called his hosts, and said to them, "Elohim has shown to Adam and Hawa all about this wheat to strengthen their bodies, and, look, they have come and made a big pile of it. Now they are weak from the toil and are now asleep. Come, let us set fire to this heap of corn, and burn it. Let us take that bottle of water that is by them and empty it out, so that they may find nothing to drink, and we kill them with hunger and thirst. Then, when they wake up from their sleep and seek to return to the cave, we will come to them along the way and lead them in the wrong direction so that they die of hunger and thirst. Then perhaps they will reject Elohim, and he may destroy them. So, in this way we can be rid of them." Then Satan and his hosts set the wheat on fire and burned it up. But from the heat of the flame Adam and Hawa awoke from their sleep, and saw the wheat burning and the bucket of water by them was poured out. Then they cried and began to go back to the cave. But as they were going up from below the mountain, Satan and his hosts met them in the form of messengers, praising Elohim. Then Satan said to Adam, "Adam, why are you so pained with hunger and thirst?" "It seems to me that Satan has burnt up the wheat." And Adam said to him, "Yes." Satan said to Adam, "Come back with us. We are messengers of Elohim. Elohim sent us to you to show you another field of corn better than that, and beyond it is a fountain of good water and many trees, near where you shall live. And you shall work the cornfield and make it better than that which Satan has consumed." Adam thought that he was true, and that they were messengers who talked with him, and so he went back with them. Then Satan began to lead Adam and Hawa in the wrong direction for 8 days, until they both fell down as if dead, from hunger, thirst, and weakness. Then he fled with his hosts, and left them. Then Elohim looked at Adam and Hawa, and at what had befallen them from Satan, and how he killed them. So Elohim sent his word and raised Adam and Hawa from death. Then, when he was raised, Adam said, "O Elohim, you have burnt and taken the seeds which you had given us. You have emptied out the bucket of water. And you have sent your messengers, who have caused us to lose our way from the cornfield. Will you kill us? If this is from you, O Elohim, then take away our souls, but stop punishing us." Then Elohim said to Adam, "I did not burn down the wheat, and I did not pour the water out of the bucket, and I did not send my messengers to lead you astray. But it is Satan, your master, who did it. It was he to whom you have subjected yourself, while setting my commandment aside. It is he who burnt down the corn, and poured out the water, and who has led you astray. All the promises he has made you are just a trick, a deception, and a lie. But now, Adam, you shall acknowledge my good deeds done to you." And Elohim told his messengers to take Adam and Hawa, and to lift them up to the field of wheat, which they found as before with a bucket full of water. That they saw a tree and found on it solid manna, and they were astonished at Elohim's power. And the messengers commanded them to eat of the manna when they were hungry. And Elohim admonished Satan with a curse, not to come again and destroy the field of corn. Then Adam and Hawa took of the corn, and made an offering of it, and took it and offered it up on the mountain, at the place where they had offered up their first offering of blood. And they offered this offering again on the altar they had built at first. And they stood up and prayed, and besought Yahweh, saying, "O Elohim, when we were in the garden, our praises went up to you like this offering, and our innocence went up to you like incense. But now, O Elohim, accept this offering from us, and don't turn us away or deprive us of your mercy." Then Elohim said to Adam and Hawa, "Since you have made this offering and have offered it to me, I shall make it my Ben's flesh when he comes down on earth to save you. I shall cause it to be offered continually on an altar for forgiveness and mercy for those who partake of it appropriately." Then Elohim sent a bright fire over the offering of Adam and Hawa and filled it with brightness, grace, and light. And the Ruach HaKodesh came down on that offering. Then Elohim commanded a messenger to take fire tongs, like a spoon, and take an offering and bring it to Adam and Hawa. And the messenger did so as Elohim had commanded him, and offered it to them. And the souls of Adam and Hawa were brightened, and their hearts were filled with joy and gladness and with the praises of Elohim. And Elohim said to Adam, "This shall be a custom to you to perform when affliction and sorrow should come over you. But your deliverance and your entrance into the garden shall not be until the days are fulfilled as agreed between you and me. If it were not for this, I would bring you back to my garden, and to my favor and my mercy and pity for you, for the sake of the offering you have just made to my name." Adam rejoiced at these words, which he heard from Elohim. and Adam and Hawa worshipped before the altar, to which they bowed, and then went back to the cave of treasures. And this took place at the end of the 12th day after the 80th day, 92 days, from the time Adam and Hawa came out of the garden. And they stood up the entire night praying until morning. Then they went out of the cave. Then Adam said to Hawa, with joy in his heart, because of the offering they had made to Elohim that had been accepted by him, "Let us do this 3 times every week, on all the days of our life." And as they agreed on these words, and Elohim was pleased with their thoughts and with the decision they made. After this, the word of Elohim came to Adam, and said, "Adam, you have determined beforehand the days in which sufferings shall come over my Ben, when he is made flesh. They are the 4th day, and the preparation day, which is 6th day. But regarding the 1st day, I created all things in it, and I raised the Shemayim. Through my Ben's rising again on this day, will I create joy and raise those who believe in me on high. Adam, make this offering all the days of your life." Then the word of Elohim withdrew from Adam. But Adam continued to make the offering as he had, every week, 3 times a week, until the end of 7 weeks. And on the 1st day, which is the 50th, Adam made an offering as he was accustomed, and he and Hawa took it and came to the altar before Elohim, as he had taught them. Then Satan, the hater of all that is good, was envious of Adam by the fact that his offering found favor with Elohim. So Satan hurried and took a sharp stone, from among the sharp iron stones, which were shaped in the form of a man. And Satan went and stood by Adam and Hawa. Adam was offering on the altar and had begun to pray with his hands spread before Elohim. Then Satan hurried with the sharp iron stone. He hadn't pierced Adam on the right side, and blood and water flowed. Then Adam fell on the altar like a corpse, and Satan fled. Then Hawa came and took Adam and placed him below the altar. There she stayed, crying over him while a stream of blood flowed from Adam's side over his offering. But Elohim looked upon the death of Adam. But Elohim looked at the death of Adam. He then sent his word and raised him up. And he said to him, "Fulfill your offering, because, certainly Adam, it is worthy and there is no imperfection in it." Elohim continued speaking to Adam, "Thus will it also happen to my Ben while on the earth, when he shall be pierced, and blood and water shall flow from his side, and run over his body, which is the true offering, and which shall be offered on the altar as a perfect offering." Then Elohim commanded Adam to finish his offering. And when he had ended it, he worshipped before Elohim, and praised him for the signs he had showed him. And Elohim healed Adam in 1 day, which is the end of the 7 weeks and is the 50th day. Then Adam and Hawa returned from the mountain and went into the cave of treasures, as they were used to do. This completed 140 days for Adam and Hawa, since their coming out of the garden. Then they both stood up that night and prayed to Elohim. And when it was morning, they went down to the west side of the cave, to the place where their corn was, and there they rested under the shadow of a tree, as they were accustomed to do. But when they were there, a multitude of beasts came all around them. It was Satan's wickedness and his way to wage war against Adam through marriage. After this, Satan, the hater of all that is good, took the form of a messenger, and 2 others with him. So, they looked like the 3 messengers who had brought to Adam gold, incense, and myrrh. They came to Adam and Hawa while they were under the tree, and greeted Adam and Hawa with friendly words that were full of deceit. But when Adam and Hawa saw their friendly countenance and heard their sweet speech, Adam rose, welcomed them, and brought them to Hawa, and they remained all together. Adam's heart was happy all the while because he thought that they were the same messengers, who had brought him gold, incense, and myrrh. This was because when they came to Adam the first time, peace and joy came over him from them because they brought him good gifts. So Adam thought that they had come a second time, to give him other gifts to make him rejoice. He did not know it was Satan, therefore he received them with joy and associated with them. Then Satan, the tallest of them, said, "Rejoice, Adam, and be glad. Look, Elohim has sent us to you to tell you something." And Adam said, "What is it?" Then Satan said, "It is a simple thing, but it is the word of Elohim. Will you accept it from us and do it? If you will not accept it, we will return to Elohim and tell him that you would not receive his word." And Satan continued, saying to Adam, "Don't be afraid and don't shake. Don't you know us?" But Adam said, "I do not know you." Then Satan said to him, "I am the messenger that brought you gold and took it to the cave. This other messenger is the one that brought you incense. And that third messenger is the one who brought you myrrh when you were on top of the mountain. It was he who carried you to the cave. It was our other fellow messengers who lifted you to the cave. Elohim has not sent them with us this time because he said to us, 'You will be enough.'" So when Adam heard these words he believed them, and said to the messengers, "Speak the word of Elohim, and I will receive it." And Satan said to him, "Swear and promise me that you will receive it." Then Adam said, "I do not know how to swear and promise." And Satan said to him, "Hold out your hand and put it inside my hand." Then Adam held out his hand, and put it into Satan's hand. Satan said to him, "Now say this, as Elohim who raised the stars in the Shemayim, and established the dry ground on the waters, and has created me out of the four elements, and out of the dust of the earth, and is logical, and true does speak, I will not break my promise, nor abandon my word." And Adam swore. Then Satan said to him, "Look, some time has passed since you came out of the garden, and you do not know wickedness or evil. But now Elohim says to you, to take her who came out of your side, and marry her so that she will bear you children to comfort you and to drive from you trouble and sorrow. This thing is not difficult, and there is nothing morally wrong in it for you." But when Adam heard these words from Satan, he sorrowed much, because of his oath and his promise. And he said, "Shall I commit adultery with my flesh and my bones, and shall I sin against myself, so that Elohim will destroy me and blot me out from the face of the earth? First, I ate of the tree and he drove me out of the garden, into this strange land and deprived me of my bright nature, and brought my death. If I do this, he will cut off my life from the earth, and he will cast me into Gehenna, and plague me there a long time. But Elohim never spoke the words that you have said, and you are not Elohim's messengers. He did not send you. You are devils that have come to me under the false appearance of messengers. Away from me, you cursed of Elohim." Then the devils fled from Adam. And he and Hawa got up and returned to the cave of treasures, and went into it. Then Adam said to Hawa, "If you saw what I did, don't tell anyone, because I sinned against Elohim in swearing by his great name, and I have placed my hand once again into that of Satan." Hawa then held her peace as Adam told her. Then Adam got up and spread his hands before Elohim, beseeching and entreating him with tears, to forgive him of what he had done. And Adam remained standing and praying in that way for 40 days and 40 nights. He did not eat or drink until he dropped down on the ground from hunger and thirst. Then Elohim sent his word to Adam, who raised him up from where he lay, and said to him, "Adam, why have you sworn by my name? Why have you made agreement with Satan again?" But Adam cried and said, "O Elohim, forgive me. I did this unwittingly because I believed they were Elohim's messengers." And Elohim forgave Adam and said to him, "Beware of Satan." And he withdrew his word from Adam. Then Adam's heart was comforted, and he took Hawa and they went out of the cave to prepare some food for their bodies. But from that day Adam struggled in his mind about marrying Hawa, because he was afraid that if he did it, Elohim would be angry with him. Then Adam and Hawa went to the river of water, and sat on the bank, as people do when they enjoy themselves. But Satan was jealous of them, and planned to destroy them. Then Satan, and 10 from his hosts, transformed themselves into maidens, with more grace than any others in the entire world. They came up out of the river in front of Adam and Hawa, and they said among themselves, "Come, we will look at the faces of Adam and Hawa who are of the men on earth. They are beautiful and their faces look different than ours." Then they came to Adam and Hawa and greeted them, and they stood amazed at them. Adam and Hawa looked at them also, and wondered at their beauty, and said, "Is there another world under us with such beautiful creatures as these in it?" And the maidens said to Adam and Hawa, "Yes, indeed, many of us were created." Then Adam said to them, "But how do you multiply?" And they told him, "We have husbands who have married us and we bear them children, who grow up and in turn marry and are married and also bear children. Thus we increase. O Adam, you will not believe us, we will show you our husbands and our children." Then they shouted over the river as if to call their husbands and their children. And men and children came up from the river, and every man came to his wife, and his children were with him. But when Adam and Hawa saw them, they stood speechless and were amazed at them. Then they said to Adam and Hawa, "See all our husbands and our children? You should marry Hawa as we have married our husbands so that you will have children as we have." This was the way Satan was to deceive Adam. Satan also thought to himself, Elohim at first commanded Adam concerning the fruit of the tree, saying to him, "Do not eat of it or else you shall die." But Adam ate of it, but Elohim did not kill him. He only gave him by law, death, plagues, and trials, until the day he shall leave his body. But if I deceive him to do this thing and marry Hawa without Elohim's permission, Elohim will kill him. Therefore Satan worked this apparition before Adam and Hawa, because he sought to kill him, and to make him disappear from off the face of the earth. Meanwhile the fire of immorality came over Adam and he thought of committing transgression. But he restrained himself, fearing that if he followed the advice of Satan, Elohim would put him to death. Then Adam and Hawa got up and prayed to Elohim, while Satan and his hosts went down into the river in front of Adam and Hawa so they would see them going back to their own world. Then Adam and Hawa went back to the cave of treasures, as they usually did around evening time. And they both got up and prayed to Elohim that night. Adam remained standing in prayer but did not know how to pray because of the thoughts in his heart about marrying Hawa. And he continued this way until morning. When light came up, Adam said to Hawa, "Get up, let us go below the mountain where they brought us gold, and let us ask Yahweh concerning this matter." Then Hawa said, "What is that matter, Adam?" And he answered her, "That I may request Yahweh to inform me about marrying you because I will not do it without his permission or else he will kill you and me. For those devils have set my heart on fire, with thoughts of what they showed us in their sinful visions." Then Hawa said to Adam, "Why do we need to go to the foot of the mountain? Let us rather stand up and pray in our cave to Elohim to let us know whether this advice is good or not." Then Adam rose up in prayer and said, "O Elohim, you knows that we transgressed against you, and from the moment we sinned we were stripped of our bright nature, and our body became brutish, requiring food and drink, and with animal desires. Command us, O Elohim, not to give way to them without your permission, for fear that you will turn us into nothing. If you do not give us permission we will be overcome and follow that advice of Satan, and you will again kill us. If not, then take our souls from us and let us be rid of this animal lust. And if you give us no order about this thing then separate her from me and me from her, and place us each far away from the other. Then, O Elohim, if you separate us from each other, the devils will deceive us with their apparitions that resemble us, and destroy our hearts, and defile our thoughts towards each other. If our heart is not toward each other, it will be toward them, through their appearance when the devils come to us in our likeness." Here Adam ended his prayer. Then Elohim considered the words of Adam, that they were true, and that he could not wait long for his order respecting the counsel of Satan. And Elohim approved Adam in what he had thought concerning this, and in the prayer he had offered in his presence. And the word of Elohim came to Adam and said to him, "O Adam, if only you had had this caution at first, before you came out of the garden into this land." After that, Elohim sent his messenger who had brought gold, and the messenger who had brought incense, and the messenger who had brought myrrh to Adam, that they should inform him respecting his marriage to Hawa. Then those messengers said to Adam, "Take the gold and give it to Hawa as a wedding gift, and promise to marry her, then give her some incense and myrrh as a present, and you both will be one flesh." Adam obeyed the messengers, and took the gold and put it into Hawa's bosom in her garment, and promised to marry her with his hand. Then the messengers commanded Adam and Hawa to get up and pray 40 days and 40 nights. When that was done, then Adam was to have sexual intercourse with his wife, for then this would be an act pure and undefiled, so that he would have children who would multiply, and replenish the face of the earth. Then both Adam and Hawa received the words of the messengers, and the messengers departed from them. Then Adam and Hawa began to fast and pray, until the end of the 40 days, and then they had sexual intercourse, as the messengers had told them. And from the time Adam left the garden until he wedded Hawa, were 223 days, that is 7 months and 13 days. This was how Satan's war with Adam was won, by Adam, and Satan was defeated. And they lived on the earth working so they could keep their bodies in good health. And they continued until the 9 months of Hawa's pregnancy were over, and the time drew near when she would give birth. Then she said to Adam, "The tokens placed in this cave since we left the garden show it to be a pure place. We will be praying in it again in a while. Because of this, it is not appropriate that I should give birth in it. Let us instead go to the sheltering rock cave that was formed by the command of Elohim when Satan threw a big rock down on us in an attempt to kill us." Adam then took Hawa into that cave. When the time came for her to give birth, she strained very much. Adam felt pity for her, and he was very worried about her because she was close to death, and the words of Elohim to her were being fulfilled, "You shall bear a child in suffering, and in sorrow shall you bring forth a child." But when Adam saw the distress Hawa was in, he got up and prayed to Elohim, and said, "O Yahweh, look at me with the eye of your mercy, and deliver her out of her distress." And Elohim looked at his maidservant Hawa, and delivered her, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and with him a daughter. Then Adam rejoiced at Hawa's deliverance, and also over the children she had given him. And Adam ministered to Hawa in the cave until the end of 8 days, when they named the son Cain, and the daughter Luluah. The meaning of Cain is hater, because he hated his sister in their mother's womb, before they were born. Because of this, Adam named him Cain. But Luluah means beautiful, because she was more beautiful than her mother. Then Adam and Hawa waited until Cain and his sister were 40 days old, when Adam said to Hawa, "We will make an offering and offer it up in behalf of the children." And Hawa said, "We will first make one offering for the firstborn son, and then later we shall make one for the daughter." Then Adam prepared an offering. He and Hawa brought it to the altar they had built at first and offered it up for their children. And Adam offered up the offering, and asked Elohim to accept his offering. Then Elohim accepted Adam's offering, and sent a light from the Shemaim that shined down on the offering. Adam and his son drew near to the offering, but Hawa and the daughter did not approach it. Adam and his son were joyful as they came down from the altar. Adam and Hawa waited until the daughter was 80 days old, and then Adam prepared an offering and took it to Hawa and to the children. They went to the altar where Adam offered it up, as he was accustomed, asking Yahweh to accept his offering. And Yahweh accepted the offering of Adam and Hawa. Then Adam, Hawa, and the children gathered together and came down from the mountain, rejoicing. But they did not return to the cave in which they were born. Instead they went to the cave of treasures, so that the children should live in it and be barak with the tokens brought from the garden. But after they had been barak with the tokens, they went back to the cave in which they were born. But, before Hawa had offered up the offering, Adam had taken her to the river of water in which they threw themselves at first. That they washed themselves. Adam washed his body and Hawa washed hers clean also, after the suffering and distress that had come over them. But after washing themselves in the river of water, Adam and Hawa returned every night to the cave of treasures, where they prayed and were barak, and then went back to their cave where their children were born. Adam and Hawa did this until the children had been weaned. After they were weaned, Adam made an offering for the souls of his children. In addition to the 3 times every week, he made an offering for them. When the children were weaned, Hawa conceived again, and when her pregnancy came to term, she gave birth to another son and daughter. They named the son Hebel and the daughter Aklia. Then at the end of 40 days, Adam made an offering for the son, and at the end of 80 days he made another offering for the daughter, and treated them as he had previously treated Cain and his sister Luluah. He brought them to the cave of treasures, where they received a barakah, and then returned to the cave where they were born. After these children were born, Hawa stopped having children. As the children began to grow stronger and taller, Cain grew hard-hearted, and he ruled over his younger brother. Often, when his father made an offering, Cain would remain behind and not go with them to make the offering. But Hebel had a meek heart, and was obedient to his father and mother. He frequently influenced them to make an offering because he loved it. He prayed and fasted much. Then this sign came to Hebel. As he was corning into the cave of treasures, he saw the golden rods, the incense and the myrrh, and he asked his parents, Adam and Hawa, to tell him about them. Hebel asked, "Where did you get these from?" Then Adam told him all that had befallen them. And Hebel felt deeply about what his father told him. Then his father, Adam, told him about the works of Elohim and of the garden. After hearing these things, Hebel remained behind after his father left and stayed the entire of that night in the cave of treasures. And that night, while he was praying, Satan appeared to him in the form of a man. And Satan said to him, "Often you have moved your father into making offerings, and to fast and pray. Because of this, I will kill you and make you perish from this world." But Hebel prayed to Elohim and drove away Satan, and he did not believe the words of the devil. Then when it was day, a messenger of Elohim appeared to him, who said to him, "Do not stop your fasting, prayer, or offering to your Elohim. For, look, Yahweh has accepted your prayer. Be not afraid of the form which appeared to you in the night, and who cursed you to death." Then the messenger departed from him. Then Hebel came to Adam and Hawa when it was day, and told them about the vision he had seen. When they heard it, they worried about it very much, but said nothing to him about it. They only comforted him. But Satan came to the hard-hearted Cain by night and showed himself and said to him, "Since Adam and Hawa love your brother Hebel so much more than they love you, they wish to join him in marriage to your beautiful sister, because they love him. However, they wish to join you in marriage to his ugly sister, because they hate you. Now before they do that, I am telling you that you should kill your brother. That way your sister will be left for you and you can throw his sister away." And Satan departed from him. But the devil remained behind in Cain's heart, and frequently prompted his ambition to kill his brother. But when Adam saw that the older brother hated the younger brother, he attempted to soften their hearts. He said to Cain, "My son, take some of the fruits of your sowing and make an offering to Elohim, so that he might forgive you for your wickedness and your sin." He said also to Hebel, "Take some of the fruit of your sowing and make an offering and bring it to Elohim, so that he might forgive you for your wickedness and your sin." Then Hebel obeyed his father and took some of his sowing, and made a good offering, and said to his father, "Adam, come with me and show me how to offer it up." And they went, Adam and Hawa with him, and they showed him how to offer up his gift on the altar. Then after that they stood up and prayed that Elohim would accept Hebel's offering. Then Elohim looked at Hebel and accepted his offering. And Elohim was more pleased with Hebel than he was with his offering, because of his good heart and pure body. There was no trace of guile in him. Then they came down from the altar and went to the cave in which they lived. But because of his joy felt at making his offering, Hebel repeated it 3 times a week, following the example of his father Adam. But Cain did not want to make an offering, but after his father became very angry, he offered up a gift once. He took the smallest of his sheep for an offering, and when he offered it up, his eyes were on the lamb. Because of this, Elohim did not accept his offering, because his heart was full of murderous thoughts. And they all lived together like this in the cave in which Hawa had given birth, until Cain was 15 years old, and Hebel 12 years old. Then Adam said to Hawa, "The children have grown up. We must think of finding wives for them." Then Hawa answered, "How can we do that?" Then Adam said to her, "We will join Hebel's sister in marriage to Cain, and Cain's sister to Hebel." Then Hawa said to Adam, "I do not like Cain because he is hard-hearted. So, let them stay with us until we offer up to Yahweh on their behalf." And Adam said no more. Meanwhile Satan came to Cain in the form of a man of the field, and said to him, "Look, Adam and Hawa have discussed together about the marriage of you two, and they have agreed to marry Hebel's sister to you, and your sister to Hebel. But if it were not that I love you, I would not have told you this thing. So, if you will take my advice and obey me, I will bring beautiful robes, plenty of gold and silver, and my relations will attend you on your wedding day." Then Cain said with joy, "Where are your relations?" And Satan answered, "My relations are in a garden in the north, where I once meant to bring your father Adam, but he would not accept my offer. But if you will receive my words and if you will come to me after your wedding, you shall rest from the misery in which you are, and you shall rest and be better off than your father Adam." At these words, Satan got Cain's attention, and Cain inclined toward Satan to listen. After this, he did not remain in the field, but he went to Hawa, his mother, and beat her and cursed her, and said to her, "Why are you planning to take my sister to marry her to my brother? Am I dead?" But his mother quieted him and sent him back to the field where he had been. Then when Adam came, she told him of what Cain had done. Adam was very worried, but held his peace, and did not say a word. Then, the next morning Adam said to Cain his son, "Take of your young and good sheep and offer them up to your Elohim, and I will speak to your brother and have him make an offering of corn to his Elohim." They both obeyed their father Adam, and they took their offerings, and offered them up on the mountain by the altar. But Cain behaved arrogantly toward his brother, and he shoved him from the altar, and would not let him offer up his gift on the altar, but he offered his own offering on it with a proud heart, full of guile and fraud. But Hebel set up stones that were near at hand, and on that, he offered up his gift with a heart humble and free from guile. Cain was then standing by the altar on which he had offered up his gift, and he cried to Elohim to accept his offering, But Elohim did not accept it from Cain, nor did a divine fire come down to consume his offering, but he remained standing over against the altar out of meanness, to make fun of his brother, and he glared at his brother Hebel to see if Elohim would accept his offering or not. And Hebel prayed to Elohim to accept his offering. Then a divine fire came down and consumed his offering. And Elohim smelled the sweet savor of his offering, because Hebel loved him and rejoiced in him. And because Elohim was well pleased with him, he sent him a messenger of light in the form of a man to partake of his offering, because he had smelled the sweet savor of his offering, and he comforted Hebel and strengthened his heart. But Cain was looking on all that took place at his brother's offering, and was angry because of it. Then he opened his mouth and blasphemed Elohim because he had not accepted his offering. But Elohim said to Cain, "Why do you look sad? Be in right standing with me so that I may accept your offering. You have not murmured against me, but against yourself." And Elohim said this to Cain in rebuke, and because he hated him and his offering. And Cain came down from the altar, and his color changed, and he had a sad face. And he came to his father and mother and told them all that had happened to him. And Adam grieved much because Elohim had not accepted Cain's offering. But Hebel came down rejoicing, and with a glad heart, and told his father and mother how Elohim had accepted his offering. And they rejoiced at it and kissed his face. And Hebel said to his father, "Because Cain shoved me from the altar, and would not allow me to offer my gift on it, I made an altar for myself and offered my gift on it." But when Adam heard this, he was very sorry, because it was the altar he had built at first, and on which he had offered his own gifts. Cain was so resentful and so angry that he went into the field. There, Satan came to him and said to him, "Your brother Hebel has taken refuge with your father Adam, because you shoved him from the altar." They have kissed his face, and they rejoice over him far more than over you. When Cain heard these words of Satan, he was filled with rage, but he let no one know. But he was lying in wait to kill his brother, until he brought him into the cave, and then said to him, "Brother, the country is so beautiful, and there are such beautiful and pleasurable trees in it, and charming to look at. But brother, you have never been one day in the field to take your pleasure in that place. Today, my brother, I wish very much that you would come into the field with me, to enjoy yourself and to barak our fields and our flocks, for you are righteous, and I love you much, O my brother. But you have alienated yourself from me." Then Hebel agreed to go with his brother Cain into the field. But before going out, Cain said to Hebel, "Wait for me and I will fetch a staff because of wild beasts." Then Hebel stood innocently waiting. But Cain, the presumptuous, got a staff and went out. And Cain and his brother Hebel began to walk in the path. Cain was talking to him, and comforting him, to make him forget everything. And so they walked on until they came to a place they were alone where there were no sheep. Then Hebel said to Cain, "Look, my brother, we are tired from walking. We see none of the trees, or fruits, or the growing green plants, or the sheep, or any of the things of which you told me. Where are those sheep of yours that you told me to barak?" Then Cain said to him, "Come on, and you shall see many beautiful things very soon, but go before me until I catch up to you." Then Hebel went on, but Cain stayed behind him. And Hebel was innocently walking, without suspecting any craftiness, not thinking that his brother would kill him. Then Cain came up to him, comforted him with his words while walking a little behind him. Then he ran up to him and beat him with the staff, blow after blow, until he was dazed. But when Hebel fell down on the ground and saw that his brother meant to kill him, he said to Cain, "Oh, my brother, have pity on me. By the breasts we have sucked, do not hit me." by the womb that bore us and that brought us into the world, do not beat me to death with that staff. If you are set on killing me, take one of these large stones, and kill me outright." Then Cain, the hard-hearted and cruel murderer, took a large stone, and beat his brother's head with it until his brains oozed out, and he wallowed in his blood, before him. And Cain was not sorry for what he had done. But when the blood of righteous Abel fell on the earth, it trembled as it drank his blood, and would have destroyed Cain because of it. And the blood of Abel cried mysteriously to Elohim to avenge him of his murderer. Then Cain began to dig furiously at the ground to bury his brother, because he was shaking from fear that came over him when he saw the earth tremble because of him. He then threw his brother into the hole he made, and covered him with dust. But the ground would not receive him, and it threw him up at once. Again Cain dug the ground and covered his brother in it, but again the ground threw him up. 3 times the ground threw up the body of Abel on itself. The muddy ground threw him up the first time because he was not the first creation. It threw him up the second time and would not receive him because he was righteous and good and was killed without a cause. The ground threw him up the third time and would not receive him so that there might remain before his brother a witness against him. And so the earth mocked Cain until the word of Elohim came to him concerning his brother. Then Elohim was angry and very much displeased at Abel's death. And he thundered from the Shemaim, and lightning went out from him, and the word of Yahweh Elohim came from the Shemaim to Cain, and said to him, "Where is Abel, your brother?" Then Cain answered with a proud heart and a gruff voice, "How am I to know, O Elohim? Am I my brother's keeper?" Then Elohim said to Cain, "Cursed be the earth that has drunk the blood of Abel, your brother. And as for you, you will always be trembling and shaking, and this will be a mark on you so that whoever finds you will kill you." But Cain cried because Elohim had said those words to him. And Cain said to him, "O Elohim, whosoever finds me shall kill me, and I shall be blotted out from the face of the earth." Then Elohim said to Cain, "Whoever finds you will not kill you," because before this, Elohim had been saying to Cain, "I shall put 7 punishments on anyone that kills Cain." For the word of Elohim to Cain was, "Where is your brother?" Elohim said it in mercy to him, to try and make him repent. And if Cain had repented at that time, and had said, "O Elohim, forgive me my sin, and the murder of my brother," Elohim would then have forgiven him his sin. But Elohim said to Cain, "Cursed be the ground that has drunk the blood of your brother." That also was Elohim's mercy on Cain, because Elohim did not curse him, but he cursed the ground, although it was not the ground that had killed Abel, and committed a wicked sin. But it was fitting that the curse should fall on the murderer, and yet, in mercy did Elohim manage his thoughts so that no one should know the extent of his anger, for he turned it away from Cain. And he said to him, "Where is your brother?" To which he answered and said, "I know not." Then the Creator said to him, "Be trembling and quaking." Then Cain trembled and became terrified, and through this sign Elohim made him an example before all the creation to show him as the murderer of his brother. Also Elohim brought trembling and terror over him so that he might see the peace he had before and also see the trembling and terror he endured at the end, so that he might humble himself before Elohim and repent of his sin, and seek the peace that he enjoyed at first. The word of Elohim said, "I will put 7 punishments on anyone who kills Cain." So, Elohim was not seeking to kill Cain with the sword, but he sought to make him die of fasting, and praying, and crying by his discipline, until the time that he was delivered from his sin. And the 7 punishments are the 7 generations, during which Elohim awaited Cain, for the murder of his brother. But, ever since he had killed his brother, Cain could find no rest in any place, so he went back to Adam and Hawa, trembling, terrified, and defiled with blood.